Hello and welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. Today my guest is Eddie Drescher from the Crankset Group. How are you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Rory.
Well, it's nice to have you here.
Good to be here.
Good to be here too, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Let me ask you, the Crankset Group is probably something that people may not have heard of if you're not in business. If you are, I think a lot of people know you. You've been around a while in the local community.
Yes.
And I know I'd heard of you for quite a while. So tell us, what is the Crankset Group?
The Crankset Group is a business advisory firm. We're headquartered in Denver, Colorado. A good friend of mine, Chuck Blakeman, founded the firm 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. Chuck and I were friends in a previous business venture, very similar to what we're doing now. And it's not a franchise. It's not a licensing. It's just think of it as a partnership. And right now, we're, in addition to being in the greater Denver area, we're in Canada, we're in Ireland, we're in China, and of course here in Southampton Roads. What is it? Well, our mission is to help business owners do three things: make more money in less time, get off the treadmill, and get back to the passion that brought them into business in the first place.
Well, that certainly sounds like a very tough goals.
It is.
Being in business myself, I know.
Yes, it is.
So how do you go about doing that? Well,
we have a systematic way of going about it, but there's four foundational or building block things that we do with and for the small business owner to help them do that. The first one is what we call lifetime goals and ideal situation. And what that is helping the business owner or owners get clarity on why they're doing what they're doing. Sounds like a simple thing, might sound, a little bit, like a kumbaya circle, and it's not. I am learning that very few business owners really ask themselves, why are they doing what they're doing? And what is it for them personally that their business is supposed to do for them? And so we start there, and then that leads to the second part of foundation number one, which is what's your ideal situation? Simply stated, how much time would you like from your business, and how much money would you like from your business consistently? And again, I've found very few business owners approach their business that way. Mm-hmm. So that's building block number one. Number two is to actually help them know where they're going, when they want to be there by. And then I'll talk in a second about how to get there and what they need to do today to get there. Mm-hmm. But when? Very important question. Very few business owners know when they want to get where they want to arrive at once they do get clarity. And so we help them pick a date in the future. We challenge them to do it within 3 to 5 years, and we call it a business maturity date. It has nothing to do with the number of employees a business owner has. It has nothing to do with their annual revenues. It has everything to do with where is the business owner in relationship to his and her business. You can be in business for 30 years and never arrive where you want to go. You can be in business 6 months and have clarity on where you want to go. But wherever you are, we want to challenge you to get where you want to go within 3 to 5 years. So that's the first one.
Is that more like learning to work on your business instead of working in your business?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So it is. It's why it's so hard to do and why so few do it. Because it's ironic, Rory, in the moment that any business owner slows down enough to visit questions like that. Why am I doing what am I doing? What is my business supposed to do for me and my family and my stakeholders? It takes time. Mm-hmm. And at that time, you're actually not only not making money in that time block, you're losing money because you could have been in front of a client or a prospect or working on a project.
Because you're tying the basics to you. So you've only got so many hours of the day.
That's
so when
correct.
You step away, it stops.
That's right. So it feels very unproductive, if not anxiety provoking, and yet it's the most profitable thing a business owner can do. Mm-hmm.
All right, well, but it is hard to do.
It is hard to do.
It is.
Because it will not make you any money today.
Right. It's hard to get that mindset.
Yeah, my good friend Chuck Blakeman wrote a book, Making Money is Killing Your Business.
I guess
And
one way to
that's the
look at it.
premise of it.
Right, right.
So that's where we start is where are you,
Uh-huh.
the owner, going?
Now, do you find that that's something that most people in business have not really considered?
No, it's not that cut and dry.
Yeah.
Many of them have considered it, but they've either put it on the back burner because they get so busy in the day-to-day, or they lose sight of it. And sometimes that early stage of concept and startup, where the excitement is and the enthusiasm, if I can do this, I can have that, and wow, that would be a lot of fun, is lost because the realities of running a business set in.
Right.
And so I don't think it's that cut and dry, and yet some of them have never really asked themselves that
Well, I've
question.
heard the statement saying that a lot of people spend more time planning their vacation than they do their life.
Yes.
So, they never really think about their day-to-day things, and they don't think about put a lot of thought into the plan, maybe initially, but things change and you kind of
That's
adapt as you go. So sometimes you can get in a mess if you don't take time to watch.
Well, that's correct. And the last thing I'll say on that is, contrary to popular belief, most business owners are not visionaries. Only about 15% are tried and true entrepreneurs. About 85% are really good at a craft, if you will. And so they set out on their own to open a business. Either they got laid off or they're going to give it a shot on their own. And they love what they do and they're good at it. And so they kind of by default fall into a trap of, I love what I do, I'm going to work hard, and I hope I make a lot of money and it works out. We call that the random hope strategy.
Yeah, it's like I read a book called The E-Myth one time,
Yes.
and it was talking about that very thing was that you get into business because I think they use the example making pies. You're
Yes,
good at making
they
pies,
sure
so you
is.
open a
Good
pie
book,
company,
by the way.
and pretty soon,
Yeah, it's a great book.
It is a great
Yes.
book, yeah. But you get in business making pies, and before you know it, you're so consumed by the business, it's not. Anyway,
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that does happen. So, all right. So the 7 stages of business ownership and the 7 elements of a business. I know that you and I visited that.
Yes.
So do you want to kind of give any more detail to that?
Sure. I've addressed one
Yes.
building block or
Yes.
foundational principle. The second one is the business maturity date
Right.
and a strategy. Business plans, we are learning or have found, are very good for attracting investors, getting a bank loan, perhaps conducting an annual retreat. But usually they're put on the shelf and are shelf help books. And so before I address the 7 stages of a business and the 7 elements of a business, we believe a simple 2-page strategic plan that's dynamic, it changes every month and every quarter, can help keep you on track, because what we hear from business owners is that when the boots hit the ground and they implement, the market will tell them whether they have a good plan or
Right.
a bad one or
And
somewhere
it's
in between.
easier to
So-
change that way.
Yes.
If picking up, because you and I talked, and I found that to be an intriguing way to go too, because I know there's so many things to look at in a business, and having it down to a 2-page thing gives you all the important factors that you need to keep an eye on and can make decisions with rather quickly. So,
That's exactly right.
yeah, so it's better than pulling out that manual.
Yeah, so if we're good at helping a business owner or owners get clarity on what they want and what their business is supposed to do for them and everybody in their world that's important to them, and we help them decide when they want to get there by, but we don't give them the tools to build a strategy, then we haven't served them. And 2 tools that we use to help them with that are the 7 stages of business, which is a subjective assessment of where the owner is in relation to his or her business. A shout out to 2 of my Irish friends that developed this thing approximately 7 or 8 years ago, Mort Murphy and John Heenan in Ireland, and then they brought it to us in the States, and we have 7 stages now. And it helps the owner assess where they are in relation to where they want to be with their business, and where they want to be by a certain date. The first 4 stages, it's not jokingly, because it is true, but really stages 1 through 4, you own a good job. You don't own a business that can make
It
money
owns
for
you.
you. It owns you.
Yeah.
And you can have a
Right.
very, very good business that's really a job, defined as if you go away, the business stops working in essence. But you can have a 7-figure income,
Right.
and yet the business is virtually dependent on you. So there's a mindset shift that we believe needs to take place from a focus on making money to a focus on building a business that can make money for you, whether you're there or not. So we give them that tool, and then the 7 elements of a business. And we're not saying that we have all of the elements, but the 7 we believe that must be paid attention to proactively, or they'll come back to bite you. And these are in no particular order: our vision and leadership, business development, operations and delivery, finance and accounting or financial management, employee satisfaction, customer satisfaction, and then the 7th one is community, family, and self. What we're finding is that most business owners are really good at 2 to 3 of those. And the other 4 to 5, not so much. And so,
Is that because they haven't thought about them, or haven't just paid attention to it, or have just decided to not focus on them at all?
it's closer to the latter, that
Yeah.
they don't focus on them at all, because human beings tend to do what they like to do.
Right.
And usually what you like to do is what you're good at.
Right.
And that's usually your perspective of running a business. And we have a business owner profile that gives them insights on that as well. We call it the APEX profile. It's not a personality test. It tells the business owner, do they have a market focus, a systems focus, or a product focus, and,
Okay.
and his or her strengths and weaknesses. But at any rate, the 7 elements require 2 things to work as well: systems on the one hand and relationships on the other. And all of those things must be done well up to a non-compromising standard or quality in order to attract and keep target market clients. So we help the owner identify the ones that they're good at and are in good shape, and then help them prioritize, well, which ones are not so good,
Right.
that if you don't pay attention to them, they're going to find you. You can go years without paying attention to employee satisfaction. Sooner or later, it'll find you.
You work with all types of businesses, right? I mean, it's just not one kind of like just manufacturing businesses. We work with service companies and.
Correct. I've done a fair amount of work over the last 4 years with government contractors.
Oh, okay.
And so I've really enjoyed working with those folks. But our sweet spot, if you will, on the low end of annual revenues, $200,000, upwards of $5 million, 3 to 50 employees is really our sweet spot.
Okay, and I know that you have a term that you like to use called outside eyes.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. That's our 4th building block, foundational principle. And if it's okay, I'll come back to the 3rd one.
No, you can go ahead with the 3rd one. Then
Well,
go
the 3rd one's process mapping. I'm a
okay.
sequential guy.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed.
Yes. Works for me in many situations.
You use
others,
mind mapping tools,
It's a
do you?
weakness. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just, that's the only way I can unpack all this stuff is go in order. So thank
You're
you.
very organized, I'll give you that. Okay, back to processing.
Yeah, process mapping. Every business I've had the pleasure of working with has processes at some level. And yet they're either living in someone's head, one of their key people,
Yeah.
or they're in a drawer or on a Post-it note or a checklist or a spreadsheet. So process mapping is getting all of the essential things and the details out of everyone's head onto paper.
So it's like an operations manual.
No. So I
No?
would see where you think that. No, an operations manual would be more like the NFL playbook. Do you know how many plays are in some NFL team's playbook?
Right. I remember us having this conversation. Yeah. So
I mean,
you're more like the thing the quarterback has on his
wrist, or the head
wrist,
coach has
Yeah.
on his 8.5 by 11 placard
Right.
doing this.
Right. I remember the conversation.
Yeah, because if a process map is not simple enough
Right.
and easily understood, it will not be used. And a process that's not used and implemented and led by people is not a process at all.
Right.
But that's the key thing for the business owner to reach minimum maturity, which, back to the 7 stages of business, stage 5, where he or she can take 3 weeks off in a row and not check email or voicemail unless they choose to. And without process mapping, that will not happen. Can't happen.
Oh, I agree.
All right, so
I can't see myself taking 7 days, much less 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, that's why it's not overnight. It's within 3 to 5 years for most people. Some, depending on what stage they're already in.
Don't jump the gun to that
Don't jump the
question.
gun.
I'm coming to
Yeah,
that. All
sorry
right,
about
so
that.
Now let's get to outside eyes.
Yeah, outside eyes. That's the fourth building block, foundational principle, and that's getting other people that you know and trust to look at your business and tell you the truth about tough decisions you need to make, changes you need to make, what's working, what's not working, to help get you and keep you on track.
Right.
It can be a trusted advisor that's already in your network. We do not recommend spouses, and we do not recommend close family. They're too close to it typically. And then one of our resources, Bedrock Resources, is a structured set of outside eyes, other peers, specifically other business owners that share a common vision that also want to build a mature business.
Okay, so that brings us to the 3 to 5 club.
3 to 5 club.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. 3 to 5 club.
Tell them all about the 3 to 5 club.
Tell them all about the 3 to 5 club.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we don't meet from 3 to 5. That's not why that is named 3 to 5. I've had a couple of people say, oh, is that why you call it 3 to 5? No. The 3 to 5 club, the purpose of it is twofold. One, to help each other build a mature business within 3 to 5 years, thus the name 3 to 5. It's made up of 24 business owners, each from different industries, up to 24, that meet a couple of times a month to help each other systematically build a mature business as I've defined it today. That's one purpose.
Now, this is not a networking group.
No, it is not
okay.
networking. The other purpose.
Well, I know that. I was just making sure you would state that that's not a net.
No, it's
Okay.
it is
Because that's important.
It is important.
Okay.
It's not a networking group. The other purpose, equally important of a 3 to 5 club, is to help each other build a network, which is as opposed to networking. And specifically, a network of 5 to 15 people that can send you a steady stream of potential clients for a lifetime.
Right,
They're not necessarily clients.
right.
Most of those people in your network will not buy from your firm because using your firm as an example, if it's okay, they may never need a video production or other type thing.
Oh, I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine that either.
I mean,
Bad example.
I know,
bad example.
Bad
Lori.
example. I think everybody needs one.
Here we go.
At least
I've got-
one.
Yeah, I've got an example. If you're a title insurance firm or a settlement firm, I know for a fact that some of their best steady stream of potential client referral sources, for example, are realtors and mortgage bankers.
Mortgage bankers,
But
right.
that individual realtor and or mortgage banker may never
Right,
close a loan with them, ever.
right. No, I agree
That's
with
what
that.
I mean. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was a bad example.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
everybody
wasn't
needs-
really a bad
everybody needs
example. I was
video.
just teasing with you there. Okay, so anything else about the 3 to 5 that you want to say anything about before we go to fast track?
Yes, but we don't have a magic pill. We're going to give you the tools
Oh, I'm disappointed.
to crank it up. Some people. So we ask.
No magic pill?
No magic pill.
Okay.
We require a 1-year commitment.
Okay.
And
2 times a month,
twice a month for 2 hours.
2 hours. So it is 3 to 5.
So yeah.
Not
I've
3
got
to
one
5,
that
but
meets
2
from
hours.
9 to 11.
9 to
But
11,
If you
okay.
want me to, I'll take it back to them and see if they want it.
No, that's okay.
But we systematically go through those 4 foundational building blocks. There's a lot of drill down there. So an hour and a half of the 2-hour meeting is an open working session that I facilitate. We have professional facilitators that facilitate the meetings to
So
actually.
you're talking to different topics at each meeting that you're working on
Yes.
for your business, okay?
Yes. For example, one month we'll drill down on lifetime goals and ideal lifestyle. We'll drill down on process mapping, the 2-page strategic plan, picking a business maturity date. This month, ironically enough, we're on how do you build a network of 5 to 15 people? What are the things, the best practices that anyone must do in order to build that? And so, yeah, we have a curriculum throughout the
Okay.
end. And the last 30 minutes of the meeting is helping each other meet potential strategic alliances that can give their business a steady stream of potential clients. So instead of passing a direct referral, we help people meet others on a favorable basis that can send their firm a steady stream of potential clients forever. So if I had the owner of a title company in our 3 to 5 club, and we actually do. For example, she has built up over the last year and a half a group of 12 attorneys that do not own title and closing agencies.
Right.
And she gets the majority of her business from 12 attorneys.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that
And-
makes
and
sense.
so
If
that's-
you can
that's
get a
what we do.
partner, a networking partner like that, that would be great.
Yeah. So that's what we do the last half hour. So
Okay.
help each other build up. We call them lumberjacks. I won't drill down into that. Don't worry.
Right. I read about it. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Fast Track.
The Fast Track series.
Yes, Fast Track series. I'm sorry.
Well, we talked earlier that, needless to say, business development is a very important element of business for any business. If you're not bringing in the business and collecting and making deposits, you're not going to last very long.
Right.
And many business owners are very, very good at business development, but either the realities of having to do all the other things in business or...
Well, there are a lot of them.
Yes.
Yeah, there are. I mean, people may not realize it, but there are. There are a lot of things that just as a personal note, just like from me,
Sure.
it's like, all right, so video is what I love to do, and we do web stuff and SEO and things like that. However, there's other stuff that you have to do. There's taxes, and there's the accounting, and
That's right.
your employee management,
That's
and all those
exactly
kind
right.
of things that you are sideline things, but they're really important and you got to do. And I never thought about that actually when I started business. I mean,
Well,
it just never occurred to me. I was more concerned with the newest camera and the newest editing system.
Absolutely.
You know, so-
And I hear that regularly. And
Yeah.
what's actually happening is the same thing that happens to me every day, Rory, which is I get up and I face two competing forces every day, the tyranny of the urgent versus the priority of the important.
Right.
And all those things you were describing, I'd submit to you, they're tyranny of the urgent things. It's not that they're not important in a literal sense, because if you don't return phone calls and emails, there's a serious consequence to that.
Right.
And yet many business owners that are really good at bringing in clients, and they could also be very good at building a team to get that business development process down, find themselves either not poking a stick at it, but they can't really fully engage in it because they've got all these tyrannical of the urgent things biting them every day.
Yeah, that's what reminds me of Stephen Covey's got that process chart with the four
Yes.
areas.
Absolutely.
And all. And it was important, urgent and important and whatever. I mean, there's four different categories and you kind of put them in.
Yes.
Anyway, so.
Yes, Stephen Covey does a great job at.
Yeah, he's a little deep.
He's deep. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's very good, but
Yeah.
it's deep. I always had to read his stuff twice. The first
Yes.
time I thought I got it, the second time I got it.
Yes,
but,
well,
you
we
know.
have that in common. I have to read a book 3 or 4 times before I really get it.
Yeah. Well, Stephen Covey was like that. I've got a lot of his books, but it's always
Yeah.
But anyway,
back to the Fast Track series. It's not that business owners and even outside sales reps, for that matter, don't know what they need to do.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that they're not good at it. It's most of them, or many of them, are plagued by inconsistency.
Right.
And so what this resource is just for that element we call business development. Is to get your sales, either if your sales are too low and you need to get them here, or they look like a roller coaster, which I hear that one a lot, up and down, up and down. Well, that's very problematic for a business. And if it's not addressed, at best, you'll survive, maybe have seasons of success, but you'll never break through.
Right.
To building a mature business. Just won't happen. So we get together for 3 hours a week over an 11-week period and throw caution to the wind.
Now, is this something that someone does in addition to the other club, or
Yes.
is this something that you can do together?
No,
or
some
after?
do it together, or you can do it separately.
Oh, okay. All right, so it doesn't matter.
If you do it together, we give you a discount.
Oh, okay.
If you do it
All right,
simultaneous.
okay.
But no, one is not a prerequisite for the
Okay.
other, nor vice versa.
All right. So it sounds to me like you're not just a sales thing. You're covering, going very deep into creating helping the business owner create a life that he wants with his business.
That's
Would I
correct.
say that's a good.
That is exactly right. And the way, in a phrase, that we help them do that through the Fast Track series, through a 3 to 5 club resource, is implement now and perfect as you go.
Right.
Carry
right.
out a bad plan.
Right. You start with a bad plan and go on.
Yes, at the end of that Fast Track series, by the way, we want you to have it down, the 1 or 2 things that you repeat that will assure a steady stream of potential clients and assure that you get your revenues to here.
Well,
and they stay
one
there.
thing I'd heard is it's hard to turn something that's not moving. You know.
Yes.
So if you're trying to make a change, unless you're going for it,
Yes.
it's harder to make the change if you're not doing anything. You
That's
know?
exactly right. You're like
Really.
an example we use sometimes is you're like a ship sitting in the harbor. I mean, until it moves, the rudder cannot do anything.
Right.
And that's what we say. Look, get moving.
Right. That's exactly right.
And,
Okay.
and then take soundings. When you get out in the harbor, pay attention to what's going on and really study what's working, what's not working, so you can replicate it.
Well, let me ask you this, because I didn't actually ask you this when we talked before. What got you into this?
I just
On
stumbled.
a personal note.
Yeah, no, great question. I stumbled upon it. I'm in the 15%. I'm not a visionary entrepreneur. Actually, I had a insurance planning practice at Northwestern Mutual, and a former client of mine introduced me to the business advisory, more specifically peer advisory business in 2005. And so I started at it part-time. And prior to that, by the way, I started my career as a commercial banker for 7 years right out of college. I love small business. I learned a lot during that 7-year tenure. And most of my time in the insurance planning business at Northwestern Mutual, I work mainly with business owners.
Business owners, right.
And I do that as well. I have that as a part of my...
Well, you sound very passionate about it. That's why I was asking. You seem to really enjoy what you do, and
I do.
You're very passionate about it, and
It's fun.
And you seem to have a very real caring attitude towards someone in business, because apparently you know what's going on for a lot of them.
I do. I mean, I think you'd agree with me. Starting and maintaining and growing a successful business is not easy.
No.
It's not easy at all, and yet I'm passionate about it for a variety of reasons. But when you look at where the job creation comes from in this country, the people that take the risk, that are following their passion and trying to build something excellent and great,
Right.
it's the small business owner,
Right.
and I want to help them build something that can give them what they've given their business,
Right.
and be able to help more people as a result. So yeah, it's fun, it's challenging and rewarding.
Well, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you'd just like to say? Did I miss something that you wanted to mention?
I don't think so, Rory.
Okay.
It sure has been a pleasure. I thank you for having me,
All right,
and
all
I've enjoyed it.
Well, if you have a business and feel like that you need to get more out of life and could use an overview and see where you might be able to take your business in the next 3 to 5 years, give Eddie a call. And his information is at the end of this video and at the bottom of the page. And check out the 3 to 5 Club or the Fast Track series, and I'm sure he can answer any questions that you might have. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. That was fun.